Okay, Andor TV series on Disney Plus just wrapped up this morning, so right, welcome back, fans. My name is Dave, and this is the Foul Scoundrel Reviews. So by now, you've probably heard of Andor the TV series, or you've lived under a rock for the last couple of months. Either case, just wrapped up this morning, and I gotta say, wow. This is a Cloak and Dagger TV series, man. This is a really intricate, almost intimate look at how the rebellion was built. So, at the climax, you kind of see where Cassian finally ends up coming full circle with his decision to join the rebellion, or at least his decision to fight back at the Empire. At this point, we are not exactly sure what he is going to do, but knowing what we know from Rogue One, a Star Wars story, we know how it ends up. He does end up fighting for the rebellion. Duh. But nope, a few things to unpack. Everything from him looking for his sister, who we still haven't seen. He killed a couple of guards, went home, and the guards from the company that he did kill has a captain looking for him named Cyril, who loses his job because Cassian escapes him. So Cyril starts a new life. Cassian goes and robs a bank. Yeah, there's a planet Aldani that has an Imperial outpost on it. And that is where he meets Val Sartha for the first time and her crew. And they go rob that bank, or the vault at least, with a bunch of credits in it. And they escape during something called the Eye of Aldani. Excellent scene where they escape, TIE fighter chase, special effects, awesome. Well, here's the rub. Everything you see in the previews is pretty much all the action in the entire series. Now, they do need a build up for all of the sequences to work, but if you're going to have something labeled Star Wars, you should probably follow George Lucas's #1 golden rule when filming a Star Wars film, and that is faster and more intense. Every time the actors in the original series, the prequels, anything that he directed, they would do a scene he wasn't happy with. He's like, you know what, this is great, but let's do it again. And this time, and the actors already knew what he was going to say, he would say faster and more intense. Okay. Well, with that being said, Andor is not faster or more intense. They could use a faster, more intense pace to kind of tell more of a story. They could have cut out some of the dialogue, because I'm telling you, between each action sequence, from him killing guards, going home, and escaping the security company, it was like everybody was yelling, and all of a sudden you heard a bunch of whispering. It is so weird. I couldn't believe it. You know, you would go from such a high-octane action sequence, like where he was at the brothel, took out some guards. I know I keep repeating that. He took out some guards, runs home, gets chased by a security company, and in between it's all this really dark, really quiet, very laid-back, very meticulous story about how the rebellion was built. Shh, don't tell anyone. And this whole time you have Luthen, who recruits Andor for this bank job, so to speak, on Aldani. Luthen is working with Mon Mothma. That's amazing. And Genevieve O'Reilly, you know what? I don't know where they find some of these actors and actresses. Genevieve O'Reilly is a spitting image of the original Mon Mothma. I couldn't believe it. Let me throw up a picture real quick. Right on. That is amazing. As soon as I saw Genevieve O'Reilly on the screen as Mon Mothma, I was like, wow. Okay, well, they got that right. But here's the rub with that. She's working with Luthen. Luthen owns a pawn shop. So that's kind of a front for information. So she goes to this pawn shop, or antique shop, talks to him. He acts like he's selling her something, and it's all code for more information. The whole time she's being watched, and she has her personal valet who is a spy spying on her. She knows about it. The spy doesn't know that she knows. But then again, we don't know, right? Because no one says anything about the spy. And in Luthen's shop, there's all this really cool stuff that everybody recognizes. He has mad loot equaling mad Easter eggs from all corners of the galaxy. Right on. Anyway, let's segue into his assistant. Luthen's assistant is a young woman named Clea. Okay. Brakes. Put on the brakes. Clea. Did they have to find someone that looked almost exactly like Carrie Fisher to play someone named Clea? Carrie Fisher played Leia. I have no idea at this point who this person is other than Luthen's assistant. So you have Clea, Luthen's assistant, helping set up meetings between Valsartha and the beginnings of the rebellion and shuttling information to Luthen when he's not there at the shop. And when you look at it, you're like, okay, is this Leia undercover? Maybe. Is it just someone conveniently named Clea? Maybe. Is Disney trolling us? Big maybe. But I digress. She's an excellent character added to the mystery of this entire series because I promise you right now, you're not going to learn anything new about Clea other than her name is Clea, she knows all the players, and she works for Luthen. Okay, moving on. So, moving on from the bank job that Andor does. I keep saying bank. It's an Imperial depot on a planet called Aldon. And they steal a bunch of credits. In the end in which Cassian gets a bunch of credits for helping, and he goes on his own way. He goes back to Ferrix, where he is from when he lives with his stepmom, Marva. And Marva, interestingly enough, her name is Marva Andor, and Cassian is not her real son. Cassian is adopted because she found him on a planet where she was performing a salvage operation on an Imperial ship. Plot thickens. Kind of harkens back to the first episode where Cassian is in a brothel looking for his sister, and in which he doesn't find, and this whole time never finds his sister. So I'm hoping in season 2 they kind of shed some light on the original task Cassian has set out to do in episode 1 of the series. Hopefully. Heck, I hope they shine some light on Luthen. We don't even know who he is. We don't even know who his assistant is. His assistant, Clea. Okay. Anyway, getting back to it. He goes on vacation because Marva doesn't want to go with him. He goes back home to get Marva. Marva's like, nope, I'm staying here. This is my home. You need to go lay low so that the Empire doesn't find you. And he runs off, goes on vacation to lay low for a while. And oh and behold, what does he do? Gets arrested. Right on. Dude needs to find a new line of work. So he gets arrested, goes to an Imperial compound. And he's sitting here like, okay, I'm under an assumed identity. They're already looking for me to begin with because they're looking for Cassian, not his new identity. And now he's in a prison working for Smeagol from Lord of the Rings, making Imperial parts, kind of like an automotive stamping factory, and they don't tell you what it is. So everybody's guessing, ooh, what is this? Is it a part of an Imperial probe droid? What does this part do? What are they doing? Why is it so important? No one knows, not even the prisoners, not even the guards. Answers nowhere, right? So he goes in, he's working for Smeagol, and there are people around him working. Some are getting sick, some are getting old, and all they know is they have to produce, and they have to be the best production crew. And then they find out that another crew gets completely eliminated. Not 100% clear why. I think it is because some of them found out that they're never leaving there. It was an enforced labor camp. And then the Empire killed an entire crew. So, prison break. Surprise! Andor escapes. And then, big shocker, Smeagol can't go with him. Can't swim. Man, I don't know who writes the script, but they need to find something other than I can't swim, so I can't escape this horrible place I've been a foreman at this whole time. Man, that would just suck. Anyway, moving on. Fast forward back to Ferrix, where Andor is from. His mom dies. Right on. He doesn't know it. The Empire is looking for him. There's an Imperial agent on his heels this whole time. Her name is Dedra Maro. Miro, I think. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, this agent is after him the whole time. The security captain that got fired in episode 2 had tried to team up with her, and she said, nope, don't need you. Okay? And she pretty much told him to stay away from him, he'd get arrested. So he's still tracking Andor. So Andor has 2 people after him. He goes back home to revisit his mom and to find out she is dead. And then her funeral. It's a trap. The Imperial officer has been after him, sets it up as a trap. The security guard's been after him, knows it's a trap, and he's sitting there waiting for him. All eyes on Ferrix. He shows up. All heck breaks loose. There's a quasi-big battle. And Luthen shows up. Yeah, he just shows up. I had no idea why he's there. He shows up. Witness the whole thing. Big explosions, fighting, turns around, walks right out, goes back to his ship. Andor saves a friend of his, gets her on a ship, helps a couple of his friends escape, his house droid, and then when he gets done, he just happens to know where Luthen's ship is, and when Luthen boards his ship, there he is at the very end with Cassian Andor, where they started. So the whole story comes to full circle. Started with Luthen and Cassian. It ended with Luthen and Cassian. In the beginning, Luthen tried to recruit Cassian into the rebellion without saying it was the rebellion. And then in the end, in which Cassian asks Luthen to either take him into the rebellion, not knowing it's the rebellion, or shoot him on the spot. That is a lot to take in. I am going to say there's a lot of things happening in the background. You find out there's a lot of characters and moving pieces moving around. It is a very slow-paced, meticulous story about people politically maneuvering other people and money and equipment into place. Mon Mothma has a daughter. Who knew? As far as I knew, Mon Mothma was just a senator from the original series. I didn't know much about her. In this series, she has a husband, she has a daughter, and apparently there's something going on there where her daughter is quasi going to be betrothed to a money launderer's son, who his son, I do not know. They don't say his name, I don't think. I don't remember it. It's just one of those where it was so slow and kind of mind-numbing between the fast, more intense sequences than I would like. So in short, Andor is a great series. It is an adult series. It was really good to see Disney kind of step up and give something more meticulous, a little darker than what they have, a little more measured. But I will say it wasn't a complete success with the story being as paced. It needs more intensity. It needs to be a faster pace to tell more of a story in a shorter period of time without giving up plot details along the way. A little more clever storytelling. So out of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, I give the Andor series roughly a 7.5 to an 8. It is a great series. Everybody needs to watch it. But I feel it was too measured. They pulled back too much. and slowed down the story way too much to set up sequences that spiked along the way. You had the beginning, you had the middle, and you have the end. And those were the action spikes where they needed to get there, but to get there, boy, they slept through this series. So they went from faster, more intense to, hey, we're doing stuff, don't tell the Empire, to faster, more intense to, shh, quiet, don't tell the Empire. Then we're going faster, more intense just to, oh hey, what's up, man? I saw you in first episode. But I will say the post-credit scene is amazing. I did get goosebumps. The whole thing was worth it just to see that. Because you do get to figure out what the prisoners were working on when Cassian was in prison. And they had like this spoked cross-member piece. And it showed these droids putting them into place on this gigantic panel. And when it zoomed back, oh and behold, da-da-da! The Death Star. Right on. Anyway, it's been great. I enjoyed watching the series. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Did you like Andor, the series? Do you agree with my assessment? Is it too measured? Is it too slow? Is it just right? Let me know. And like always, folks, if it's from a galaxy far, far away, you're never far from a good time.